Hello, here we go. Here is an optimal run through Act 1. I'm going to be picking up all the quests, fighting all the bosses, doing it in kind of, well, I'd say the best way. I mean, people got their opinions on what's going to be the best way to do this stuff. I'm just going to do the quests in the order that suits me and hopefully would suit you if you copied what I was doing. And it's not a build guide as such. This is more for the massive influx of about 3 people who are going to play the game when the expansion comes out later this year. Maybe they'll be starting from scratch and they want some kind of spoiler guide showing them how to get going so they can concentrate on having fun with the Berserker rather than trying to figure out how to actually do all the quests. I'm going to talk over what I'm doing here. I'm not going to describe what you're seeing on the screen unless it's relevant. I've put a few captions and things up there. You obviously saw me grab that lore note and you get almost the whole of your level 1 to level 2 XP from that if you get it. I rated it as a C rated exploit. There's no other exploits rated in this video, so it's kind of irrelevant, but I did it because I find it fun. Yeah, it's not a build guide. Anyone who's watched more than 1 or 2 of the videos on this channel or watched the one-shot build or watched the best starter class, I'm just doing that again because it's easy, because all the gear is readily available early on and I haven't got to think about what I'm doing. I can concentrate on demonstrating all these quests and things are. I'm going to get, I don't think I miss any lore notes out. If you want to optimize your XP, obviously gathering the lore notes particularly early on is a good way of getting your XP up quickly. If you come up here and the path is blocked because they've got random block paths, just go the other way round. You'll end up in the same place. You either go up the left side or the right side of this building. See, that right side path is blocked, so if I'd gone up there I would have had to have backtracked and gone round the other way, but I was lucky I picked the right route the first time. Gear is pretty much the first item or 2 you pick up for each slot. Just equip it before you get precious about worrying about whether it's any good. If you get yellow items early on, obviously it's going to give you a little bit of an advantage, but it all balances out eventually. The other thing I do is I'll go to the 3 locations around here where there's rare weapons. I've already picked up Francis's gun. I'm now heading down to this building down here on the left to get Hevel's greatsword. It's a nice 2-hander. If you're going to go melee, you might as well pick that up. It's going to be better than anything. Well, it's probably going to be better than anything else you find for a while. Same with Francis's gun, same with Ullman's axis in here. If you want to, pretty much if you're going to be a Nightblade, come and get this thing off this body in here, then restart the game and get another one so you can dual wield them. There you go, rare weapons. And in a minute there'll be the first of the optional boss fights. This is a guy that comes out from under that tree up there on the left. I'm going to go around and do a little bit more fetching and picking stuff up before I fight him. Again, like the text said at the start of this isn't a speed run. This isn't me saying, oh yeah, you can do all this in however much time. I pretty much coasted. I took my time doing this. I'm more interested in picking up a bunch of stuff and killing as many things as possible in the area before moving on. And collecting all the lore notes. There's a couple of good ones in here. And you probably notice I'm using evade a lot. If you get bored fighting a huge horde of enemies, just evade through them to get away. It's good if they're blocking a doorway, then you don't get stuck. Particularly if you're playing in hardcore and you think you've got stuck, you can always save up evade, don't have it on permanently on cooldown. And then if you need to use it to get out of a death situation, you can without quitting out of the game. Here's the first optional boss now. And as it says on the screen, he has 100% chance to drop his monster infrequent one-hand melee weapon. He's only got one monster infrequent that he can drop, so you'll always get it. Ever since they patched that in, or they changed it in the patch November 2023, these bosses always drop their MIs. If you've got a boss that has a chance to drop more than one type of MI, then it's a bit of a coin toss which one they're going to drop. But he will always drop that thing. And the same with Viloth. Viloth will always drop Viloth's ring. So if you want two of them, you just have to kill Viloth twice. And that will be later. I don't kill Viloth twice, I only kill it once, but it's up to you. If the ring suits your build, you might want to get two of them. There you go. That's just me obsessing about best ever gear at level, whatever level I am. So he was the first optional boss, and then you come up here and there is an optional quest to rescue Faldis, I think the guy's name is. It's in this house over on the left. One way you can do this is you can go and get the rift and come back or whatever. I'll just go and get him before I go up to the rift. Like I said, I'm not speed running it. It's not the most mega optimal way of doing it. It's just the most optimal way of getting all the quests you can possibly get. Here we go, optional rescue quest. And you do get Devil's Crossing reputation and 1 scrap when you talk to this bloke later in the prison. Anything that gives you DC rep is worth doing, trust me, even if you don't care about the XP or the scrap. And if it's your first run through, you will care about the scrap because Barnabas has a quest to give him 5 scrap. And you might drop lucky running around Lower Crossing, you might get 5 scrap, but if you can get those quest rewards, it's always good. And the other thing to collect up here, you'll start seeing these Aether clusters. You need 4 Aether Crystals for a quest that you'll get very soon. And you need 1 to restore the shrine in the burial cave. I've now got 2. It doesn't skimp on them. Those things, unless you're massively over leveled in the area, you'll always get an Aether Crystal. Well, it's an Aether Crystal or possibly a shard or possibly a cluster, but that'll be much later on. I don't think you get them at this lower level. You'll just get the Aether Crystals, which is what you need. There's 2 ways into this cave. There's that entrance that you just saw down there. You've got to kind of loop round. I think some people possibly go in through that one, but the reason I'm coming around the top here is because they're always very easy to get Aether Crystals from these clump thingies. This one here, and there's another one just a bit further down. Actually, there might be 2. There's at least 1. And then you know you guarantee to have got your 5 that you're going to need. 1 for the shrine and 4 for the quest, without having to come back and try and get another one. So you try and minimise the backtracking. There's a little bit, I mean there's some backtracking you do every now and again. Some of the quests involve it, but you can tactically use your personal rift to minimise that. Like if you go to where there's a quest giver and you know that you've got to come back there and he's nowhere near a rift, you can put your own rift down by it and then map back from whatever world rift you get to. But again, it's for the sake of saving you a minute or 2 running around. Some of it's worth doing, some of it's not. Yeah, I'm just trying to kill everything. So here's the entrance to the burial. Well, one of the entrances to the burial cave. This is where a campaign quest target is. Kaizog the Reanimator. And where those two ether thingies are down there, that's where the shrine is, where you get a devotion point. And you need 1 ether crystal to restore it. They put those two things right by it, so obviously you can't screw that up. You're going to have at least 1 ether crystal. Even if you didn't pick any up on the way here, you get 2 from there. Like I said, my optimal way of doing it is to make sure I've got 5 of them. And I'll say you cleanse that shrine dead easy. A little bit of trivia: if you didn't pick up any ether crystals but you had some in your shared stash or your personal stash, the game will pick it up from there and let you restore the shrine even if you're not carrying it around in your inventory. It's worth knowing. It's worth knowing later for some of the other shrines that require weird components that you may or may not have on you but you might have in stash. I don't speed any of these fights up. I probably should have speeded these fights up. Some of these boss fights early on drag on a bit because you're not doing a heck of a lot of damage. And I'm doing this in Veteran. I'm doing it in Veteran more to show that it can be done in Veteran than for any other reason. Because the only problem with doing any kind of walkthrough video in normal is it ends up looking, well, generally ends up looking quite easy, and then people will try it in Veteran and say, oh, I tried this in Veteran and I got killed, or how did you do that, or you're cheating, or whatever. So yeah, so I'm doing it in Veteran. I'm not doing it in Hardcore because I'm playing very casually and not really worrying too much about stuff. So yeah, I'm going to play in Hardcore. Here we go. So this is the quest where you get a skill point and you've got to have 4 ether crystals. Now, you do have to have them in your inventory for that. If you haven't got them in your inventory, but you've got like 600 in stash, it doesn't matter. He won't let you cash that quest unless you're carrying them around with you, because you're giving them to him. It's not like a shrine that can magically somehow acquire the damn thing. You have to actually hand them over to Kasparov. It's just the way it is. Don't ask me why, it's flipping Grimdawn, that's how it works. Just run around in here and talk to whoever's got an exclamation mark over their head. Some of them will just talk to you and give you XP, some of them will give you a quest. That lady in that prison cell there, she won't give you a quest until you're friendly rep. Yeah, that recommendation, particularly in hardcore mode, put all your components, put as much stuff as possible in shared stash. I only tend to use personal stash for quest items and, well, random stuff. There you go. If you're lucky, one of the, oh yeah, I cashed that. I cashed that quest and got 1 scrap and I bought one off him. Yeah, I think there it says sequence shortened. What I have done there, where I'm at a shop, I could have been at a shop for ages looking at things and selling things. I've just edited that down because you don't need to see that. It's not a shopping guide. Hopefully you understand, sell stuff you're not using. Occasionally buy stuff that you are using if it's really, really, really good. Don't just buy loads of stuff. I wanted to do Pusquill. Pusquill is an optional boss in a cave, and his cave, that's the other end, the burial cave, ignore that. He's got 3 possible, yeah, where that arrow is pointing there, that's one of the possible locations of Pusquill's cave. I was quite lucky because I wanted to show you where all 3 were, and it's obviously the last one I look at, side quest target, yeah, so you get a quest to kill these 3 named things, Pharos the Rotted, Negan the whatever, and Gilius the something else. Harmond, I think, gives you that quest. And why I mention you get a scrap for it is you may well be struggling for scrap, and you might think, well, if I do this quest, I can guarantee I'm going to get another one. It's a bit of a slow old fight. He's not that dangerous because he just lumbers around and throws things. He's got like a poison vomit attack he does as well. That was it there. Nice, isn't it? I'm just heading up now to the second possible location for Pusquill's cave. It's that pile of rubbish just there. Maybe a little bit more north than where I was pointing, but yeah, that's where it would be. If it was there, you'd see it. Don't worry about it. So I know it's not in location 1 or 2, so it's absolutely guaranteed to be in location 3, which is over here somewhere. There it is. I'll put some timestamps in here because you might want to skip past this fight or skip to the end of the fight because it takes ages. So yeah, check the description for timestamps. There's loads of naughty spiky doggies in here as well. Some of them have got ranged attacks and it's just a right mess, and the floor is poisonous in various places, I think, if you stand in it. So there's all sorts of ways of dying in here. And then you get Pusquill, who's a bit of a prat. So yeah, don't pull hordes of these dogs and then go and find Pusquill. Try and pull them to where you are and take them out before you go further down. Because as soon as he gets involved, it all gets a little bit intense. Here I think he's, yeah, there he is. All that green stuff is getting shot on the screen. That's it, and there he is. And the counter is going up for Barnabas. Oh yeah, and don't activate the flipping totem in the middle of the Pusquill fight, particularly in Veteran. Leave the totem alone if it's in here. Finish him off first and then activate it. What I was saying about the counter going up was the scrap counter for the Barnabas quest. That was all that was. It shows it on the quest log over on the right, but you also get a big notification coming up on the screen while you're collecting them until it gets to 5 out of 5, and then you'll stop getting that notification. I almost died then. This is why I'm not playing in hardcore, because I know I'm just messing about. He's alright. The tactic for him is get that big pile of rubbish, which will block his ranged attacks to some extent. It will block yours as well, but you can run away. See, he's shooting, and most of his, apart from that glop he shot out then, most of his range attacks are just hitting that pile of rubbish. So as with any fight here where you're up against something strong, don't be impatient, really. Unless you're massively able to tank the damage and you can just stand there, run away, keep an eye on your health. If you take a big hit, do what I did, which was activate your heal. Used to be a consumable, but it's kind of just a thing on a cooldown now. So you've got infinite heals, they're just on a cooldown. Same with your energy regen. Used to be pots you have to carry around with you. You have your inventory full of the damn things. It's nice I got rid of that. He's almost down. I felt a bit heroic, so I thought, well, yeah, I can take him out now. He's almost dead. And he's got a 100... I haven't put a message on the screen. It's the same as the other guy. He's got a 100% chance to drop his one-handed weapon, Pusquill's Tail, which is what I want to use. There it is. Yeah, it's real good for this build, so I'm using that. soon as I get it, use it. It's just great. It's got a buff to Curse of Frailty that I need to put a point in. Oops, not doing a build guide. Don't talk about the build, John. You're not doing a build guide. Yeah, watch this now. There's a whole load of things that come out of here. There's a reflective thing and a whole bunch of insect heroes. Anytime you see a totem, just once you've cleared the surrounding area, activate it and have a look at what comes out, see how you feel. That big lumbering thing, that golem looking thing, it's probably got some kind of weird stun ranged attack they usually have where they throw rocks at you. I'm keeping an eye on him just to make sure, see if he winds up to throw something. He might not actually, but they usually do. They've usually got some kind of nasty ranged attack that can stun you, and then everyone else will pile in and finish you off. But he hasn't done it yet, so maybe he's not going to. I can't remember. It just seems to... Oh, there it is. Yeah, that thing. So that rock he threw then, if that hits you, it's going to stun you. Looking at that, it's got to be a direct hit because they're landing close to me but not stunning me, so I'm alright. And that weird earthquake attack he did then seemed to slow me down. Yeah, I've sped up a bit now. Oh yeah, that did temporarily stun me, didn't it? I think he's like a version of the Shambler in the passage later. The flooded passage, there's a boss at the end of it that's very similar to him.
I can't carry anymore.
This is what I was talking about, speeding the sequence up. And whoosh, yeah, I just edited out all the selling and looking at stuff and whatever.
See you around.
So that was the Pusquill fight, optional boss number 2 in a kind of chronological order. If you play the map in a certain way, I think you'd probably have to go past the area where Pusquill's cave is before you can go and hit any more optional bosses. And he's not the target of a quest. There's no quest to kill Pusquill or do anything involving Pusquill. Same as with that Balrog or whatever, the blooded earlier. There's no quest to kill these things. You just get a bit of XP and their monster infrequent item. What I'm doing now is I'm going to go and have a look for a cave where there is an early Rovers quest, because there's a Rovers quest to collect Slith Necklaces, but there's also 250 Rovers XP up for grabs. Oh, that was a rare crossbow, two-handed crossbow that's always there on that body. Yeah, it's 250 Rovers rep up for grabs in this cave. There's one of 3 entrances. There's one there and there's 2 others. So all you got to do, go into this cave, and it's a tiny linear circular path. Kill these cowboys and then go and have a look and find the Rovers guy. You can see him, he's just down there with an exclamation mark over his head. So at the moment I don't have any Rovers reputation. But you talk to this bloke, nothing happens, they never really do anything, you just have a conversation with him. And he says kind of thanks but no thanks when you talk to him. Doesn't really matter what option you choose. And then you get your 250 Rovers reputation and you've started earning it there. There's another quest in Act 1 to do with collecting Slith Necklaces, which we'll get to in a minute, and that'll give you 250 Rovers rep as well. But I think this quest, people are likely to miss it because the cave entrance spawns in one of 3 random locations. It's very easy to miss, and you could even go where you thought you'd seen it before and not find it because it's in a different place. And unless you explore the whole map, which obviously if you explore the whole map you'll find it, but maybe you either won't explore the whole map or you'll just think, well, I'm just going to, the quest told me I've got to go to some place, so I'll just go there, the main quest. So that's that. Next thing to do really is find the Wightmire Rift and activate it. It's one of these weird rifts that it's not a working rift when you first find it. It's green instead of purple, and it will spawn waves of enemies, 3 waves in this case. Once you clear them, the rift will be active and you can just use it, and the enemies will no longer come out of there. And you can get to it. I've come in a kind of anti-clockwise way. You can go the other way round, work your way over to the left and then back to the right, rather than what I did, which was go over to the right and then work my way back to the left. The Wightmire Rift is pretty much in the middle of the map. I don't think you can miss it. I think you have to go past it to progress further on. Right, so here it is. You can see it's a kind of a light green, light blue kind of colour, and there's enemies spawning out of it. So just take your time. If you don't stand on top of it, you can clear the first wave before you spawn the second wave. If you stay really close to it, they'll just they'll spawn out when they need to. Whereas if you've got skills that that are on a cooldown and you want to get back before you go into the next phase of the fight, just wait back here for the cooldowns and then go and trigger the next wave of enemies to spawn. There you go. You clear them all out and it turns into a normal rift. And what I'm going to do now, before I progress further north and get into a cave where there's shrines and sliths, there's this side quest. So it's a good one to do. You'll get your 250 Rovers rep. And then there's always a unique rare ring as a quest reward, and if it's your first character and your first time through, I can almost guarantee it's going to be better than the rings that you've got. At the moment I've only got 1. I haven't even got 2, and the one I've got probably isn't that brilliant. That was just me using the search bar at the vendor. You can put a text string in there as long as it matches a text string of an item, like you can put acid damage, vitality damage, whatever, and it'll highlight the gear that has got that text in the tooltip. So you can do that. I mean, you can do it in stash as well, but if you do it at a vendor, you can find out whether they've got stuff that's worth buying. Sometimes they've got really good stuff. And like I said early on, they may well have stuff that's better than the things that you've looted so far. There's a Slith Necklace on the ground up there. It's usually the higher level. See, you almost one-shotted me then. That's why I'm not in hardcore. that was quite a big hit, I took. It's that lightning attack he's doing. Yeah, but over on the right there's a Slith Necklace. You've got to collect 3 and then go back to that guy. What I'd suggest doing, I mean I don't do it, but you can put a personal rift down right by that quest giver. And then when you finish collecting the Slith Necklaces, get to whatever next world rift you need to get to and then just map back. Right, so I remember to go and pick that up. So I've got 1 of 3 and it will say it on the screen, collect Slith Necklaces 1 of 3. And the quest is also highlighted in the quest log over on the right. This is a different cavern. It's called Cavern. It's not the same one we were in just now with the Rovers. It's a different one, but it's still called Cavern. This has got a bunch of enemies in it, a bunch of Slith, and it's also got a shrine. So yeah, definitely come in here because you're going to want to get the shrine. You're going to want to collect as many shrines and devotion points as you can. I've just seen that that's got an of corrosion suffix, so I'm interested in it because I'm doing acid and poison damage. Now, one thing to mention, I mean, these shrines, they're always in the same place. They don't move around. Other things do, like totems can spawn in different places. The shrines will always be in the same place. And this one's a fight. So you haven't got to donate a component or anything here. You just activate it. It will spawn one or more waves of enemies. You kill them, and then it's restored. And it spawns some higher level, more like rare kind of enemy Slith thingies, and one of them's dropped a Slith Necklace, so that's good. So I've now got 2 out of 3, I think. Yeah. Yeah, I'm hanging on to that just because it matches the damage I'm doing, and it's got a buff to a skill that I'm using. So always keep an eye out for stuff like that. There's a unique weapon on the, well, not on the ground, on this body. It's always there. Slith tongue. It's a dagger. It's that thing there. And this cavern's not that big. I mean, it's got a couple of little loops, but I mean, it's pretty linear. You head north, you do the shrine, you get out, and you immediately get ambushed by a bunch of Slith, which, because you're doing a quest to collect their necklaces, is kind of handy. There's a whole load of them around here. What I'm doing here is just going round to these little Slith craters to spawn them, just in case one of them drops a Slith Necklace, because I'm still on 2 of 3, so I want another one. It's these that magical one there, he's just dropped one. So I've now got 3 of 3, which is what I wanted. So as I was saying, if you put a personal rift down by the quest giver, when you get to this world rift, you can just go back, but I've just got to go back to the Wightmire Rift and run up from there. So I could have put a personal rift down by that guy. It just saves you, I don't know, 10-20 seconds of running. But this is always a good quest to do. It's a good side quest to do for 2 big reasons. It's the Rovers reputation, because any rep for any faction, just get it from whatever source you can get. Plus you get this ring, which is, it's auto-equipped because I didn't have a ring in that slot, and it's decent. Like I said, if it's your first time through, you won't have a better ring than that. I can more or less guarantee you would not have a better ring than that. unless you got an incredibly lucky drop, or you'd somehow managed to go and kill Viloth before you did that bit, which you could have done if you'd got the scrap, but we'll cover killing Viloth in a minute. Here's target 2 of 3. Negan, straight out of The Walking Dead. He's a bit of a runaround guy. I mean, it's like a lot of the fights early on when you're not doing massive damage. Any hero or boss fight is going to take you a while probably. So yeah, so that the first target was that Pharos over by the burial cave. Negan's that guy. The third one is very close. He's just down here on the left. But I'm just going around killing as much stuff as possible on the way because XP is XP. So yeah, you come down from that Foggy Bank Rift. There's a couple of quest targets down here. So there's Gilius. He's the third one in that something for nothing quest, which is a side quest. You don't have to do it. I would say do it because you get a bunch of stuff. Plus there's a second part of the quest to kill 2 more enemies later on from the same quest giver. And in this area you've got that body just to the left of where I am now. There's always a Carvor's Conjuring Bone, which is a damage buff, 15% damage buff, and a temporary pet thing that spawns. Now this side quest, Milton Hart, he's got a few spawn points. So you can spawn in that building where I was just there. You can spawn in this building and he doesn't come out. Well, he doesn't usually come out till you smash a door. He's got a third spawn point over here, and this is where he is for me this time round. He'll come running out in a minute. There he is. He's actually got a heal skill. Generally tends to heal himself once during the fight. Keep an eye on his health bar. I don't even know whether I give him time to do it. If you kill him quickly enough, I don't think he will. Oh, he did. There you go. Yeah, he did heal himself for about, what, a third of his health? So that's worth remembering. I don't think he'll do it again. Usually kill him quick enough he doesn't do it again. Is that my first blue item? First epic item? I think it is. I'm not even interested in it. It was a ring, I think. There's a side quest now that you can pick up. It's a little bit convoluted, but it gives you a rare shoulder armour. You always get it, and it's decent. And again, as with the ring from that Slith Necklace quest, these green shoulders you get from this would probably be better than anything else you've got if it's your first run through and you've got nothing in stash and whatever, and you're low level. So you come into this building, yeah, it's a decent lore note in here as well. Come into this building and go over to this weird sacrificial ring on the floor in here. I don't know what these boys were up to in here. Some kind of cult craziness. So there's this guy dying on the floor and he says, go and loot my stash pretty much. But we're not going to do that just yet. We're going to do that in a sec. what we're going to do first of all, I got 5 scrap. As soon as you got 5 scrap, pretty much do the Barnabas quest. And there's a trapdoor here that won't work until you've done that scrap handing. So you just get in here and pretty much fight your way through to the end of it. It's a 2-level dungeon and there's a boss fight at the end of it.
clearing out. Well done.
Good, you're back. What am I? You follow the road.
Can't do that.
you a good price for what I've got there. Put it to good use.